Call the meeting to order. Please rise for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
Okay. I'm going to skip around a little bit because I think we have the attorney from China Cuisine here. Sir?
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Good evening, Mr. Chairman, board members. My name is Jim DiGiulio. I represent China Cuisine. You may know that Victor Hugh and Mayhew are the owners of the business. They're out of the country. They were unaware of the agenda tonight, but they would have wanted to be here, but they have authorized me and asked me to come and speak on their behalf. I know that the board had some concerns about the events that occurred in May involving some arrests at the restaurant, and we wanted to address those concerns. I prepared a letter. I believe that the letter has been submitted to each of the board members. I do have extra copies if necessary. And I would like to read the letter into the record if I have the permission of the chair.
Yes, you do.
Thank you very much. And again, this letter has been authorized by Mr. and Mrs. Hugh. Dear Chairman and board members, my office represents China Cuisine, a Massachusetts corporation doing business at 235 Main Street, North Reading, Massachusetts. Mr. Hugh, Victor Hugh, is the president of the corporation. His wife, Mayhew, is the treasurer. As you may know, Mr. and Mrs. Hugh reside in North Reading with their children. The town is their home. They've chosen this town to raise their family. China Cuisine, Inc. has operated a quality family restaurant in North Reading since 1996. To my knowledge, there's been no liquor license violations or no other permit violations. The Hughes pay all of their taxes, their obligations, which demonstrate their financial commitment to the town, the city, and the state. They're good citizens. They're responsible business owners. On May 15, 2014, the North Reading Police, after a long and commendable investigation involving other agencies as well, my understanding, made an arrest of 2 individuals in the bar area of the restaurant. Since the investigation may be ongoing or pending, I will not comment on the facts or circumstances. That would like to stress that no officer, director, or employee of China Cuisine, Inc. had any knowledge of or participated in any of the alleged activities of these 2 individuals that were arrested, and that the license holder has remained in full compliance of their obligations under the license. Before the arrest, the Hughes cooperated with the North Reading Police Department by providing information that had come to their attention, I believe it was through an anonymous call, and took suggested courses of action to ensure that no further related incidents of this nature ever occur on the premises. These actions included, but were not limited to, personnel changes to reflect experience that is necessary, retraining, as well as additional security. However, recognizing the scourge of illicit drugs in our cities and towns and seeing the infiltration of drugs into homes and businesses, Mr. and Mrs. Hugh recognized that they need to be vigilant in doing their part to help stopping this scourge. As a result, but stressing no knowledge of the alleged activities that led to the arrest, China Cuisine is going to be closing their restaurant from July 27th to July 31st, 2014 for further training of their personnel. They'll deliver their liquor license to the North Reading Police Department for this period to show their commitment to doing their part, along with the assistance of the North Reading Police, as they, again, remain vigilant in helping with this problem that all cities and towns face. China Cuisine is confident that the town can be successful in their goals. That's the letter. What I would like to add to that is that the Hughes come to you as a partner. They come to the North Reading Police Department as a partner as well. They're a citizen of the town. They have a business in the town. They have their family in their town. And we see this as a partnership. We see our responsibilities as a license holder as a partnership. And for this reason, we're offering, we want you to know their level of commitment to the issues and understanding the seriousness of what occurred here.
Comments, anybody?
Yeah, if I may. I know the Wee family very well. They have wonderful children. They run a wonderful business. They are part of the community. They contribute to the community almost in excess. And this is an unfortunate thing that happened. It can happen to any establishment. I think they came forward as good citizens and willing to address the issue as a responsible citizen would do. So I thank them, if you don't mind. I'm sure the board feels the same way. Thank them on behalf of the board, and especially myself. So that's about all I could say about them. They're just great people. So
Thank you.
This is a lesson learned.
Yes, it is. Thank you, and appreciate that. I'll pass it along.
Mr. Prisco.
Now, I've known Victor and his wife now for many years, and I know they have a big commitment to this community. They're always the first ones to step up and provide where there's a need. In this particular case, this is a little different. This wasn't about supporting a baseball team. This was a serious issue that was happening right under their noses, and I'm glad that they're stepping up and taking this matter seriously. This letter proves how seriously they are taking it, and I hope the rest of the business community learns from this. You never suffer in silence in this town. Our police are very open, willing to speak with anybody at any time. When these issues are going on, something just doesn't seem right. I wish Victor and his wife had stepped forward a long time ago so we could have caught this a little earlier in the process, but we are where we are, and I appreciate the commitment they've made to shutting down, getting people trained again, and making sure they have the policies and procedures in place so they can make sure nothing like this ever happens again. Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Again, the sentiments of both gentlemen, they are a wonderful family. My daughter goes to school with their children. They the epitome of generosity. I mean, anytime any organization in town is looking for something, they're the first ones to help out. So I think it makes it difficult for us to to view the situation, knowing how well connected they are to the community, but knowing that something was going on in their noses, like Mr. Prisco said. That being said, I wholeheartedly believe that their intentions are in the right place and that they're going to do the right thing. And again, as Mr. Yule said, we appreciate them being proactive and coming to us about this. And they need to understand, as a part of this community, that they can come to anybody. Whether it be the chief of police, the town administrator, or any of us. If they feel that they need some help with something, we'd be more than happy to. Not just them, anybody in this community, but they are, again, just to repeat myself, they are the epitome of generosity, and we appreciate everything they do for us, too.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I'm sure they will as well.
I think my fellow board members have made fine statements associated with the reply to the letter, and if you could pass that along. And I think this is a fair gesture on their part to get us through this issue. And I hope it'll send a message to other businesses in the community that may have similar problems, that they don't let it fester, but they step up and alert the appropriate departments, police, board, town administrator, et cetera.
Yes, and Mr. Chairman, I appreciate that, and as I said, this is, their commitment to their efforts is ongoing, and it's not just a letter. As a matter of fact, I had a conversation today with they have had some ongoing training since day one, since this incident occurred, initial training, but we are talking with various private entities about additional in-depth training in terms of identifying drug activity and being even more proactive, and those discussions are ongoing with companies that they seek to hire and bring in. So it wasn't just a sit-down meeting with their employees, look at this happen, it can't happen again. They are fully committed, and it's going to be an ongoing effort. It's going to be a daily effort to make sure that their eyes are open and they know what to look for, and they do know that they can reach out to the town, which we appreciate, and Chief Murphy's been terrific in terms of letting us know that the police department is there for the citizens and for the business owners. So if we had any issues or questions, they're there for us as well, and we appreciate that.
Thank you, Joe.
Actually, since the chief is here tonight, I was wondering if he had anything he wanted to add to everything that transpired.
Well, the case is still ongoing, so I'm going to refrain from speaking about the case itself, but I concur with the attorney for the Hughes, because from day one, they were in my office. They offered support, whatever they could do to help out, and this is how we came to this resolution, and it's still ongoing too. We're still having conversations and trying to give them the advice that they need, so I appreciate their cooperation, and like Selectman Prisco said, we're here for any other businesses that may need that as well, and ask that anybody come forward if they suspect anything similar to this or any other issues that they're having, and we can try to work together to resolve the issues.
Mr. Yule?
Yeah, I'm not familiar with how the tip certification process works, but is that something like that not included in the training of tip certification?
I'm not sure exactly what the training is all about, because I've never been through it, but this was quite different. As we know, this is illicit drugs, so this is more geared towards alcohol.
Right, I figured that.
Yeah, this is, I think, is
Probably beyond that
based
purview?
based upon what I hear from the Hughes, it just wasn't part of that training, but I'm not quite certain.
Just curiosity.
Mr. Yule, that's the type of thing we are addressing. When I indicated earlier that as early as this morning, I've been having ongoing conversations with private consultants to be specific in terms of drug education and training. We even talked about perhaps retaining a drug recognition expert, which because TIPS, I actually was a bartender a long time ago, so I've been through the TIPS program. I don't know if it's changed much, but I think they do focus mostly on signs of alcohol intoxication. Right. They may touch on other intoxication only because sometimes they go hand in hand.
Right.
So sometimes they'll tell you that it's not all about alcohol smell, and it's not all about the number of drinks that you're serving, because there could be other substances involved, but they touch upon that. But we are addressing that specifically.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, since we have some guests here, I'm going to go right to appointments. First is Cable Advisory Committee. We didn't appoint a...
I don't see here, I'm looking
have
at
a motion to...
I don't see a
Mr.
motion
Yule
here.
is the acting clerk.
Okay, I don't see, but thank you.
I'll make a motion to appoint Mr. Yule as the acting clerk for tonight's meeting.
Second.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous. I should have mentioned at the beginning of the meeting, Mr. O'Leary is away on business and will not be here this evening. So, Mr. Yule, I'll give you a chance to catch your breath.
Well,
there.
I'm starting off well because there's no motions here.
There are no motions?
There are
in
no
the packet?
motions here, right? So we can verbally
sure?
make a motion.
They're in the packet. If you go through your packet in the Dropbox, Jeff?
Yeah,
Oh.
they're in there, but normally there's a paper motion.
Yeah,
They're not
because we have to
in
write it
the
down to
folder
something.
there? No,
No, this is my stuff here.
No, no, it wouldn't be in yours, it would be in
Yeah.
Mr.
Oh, it's over in the green one?
Yeah.
Oh, the green one's the special one.
Yes.
Apologize.
Yeah, because you gotta record the vote.
Yeah, that's right. Okay.
Okay. I'll give you a chance to, so we're gonna talk about Cable Advisory Committee.
Yes, yes.
Number 4.
Should be number 5, right?
Number 4.
I'm skipping.
Appointments is 5.
You want to just review the
They gotta be in here.
town meeting calendar?
Minutes,
Go back
minutes,
over there.
minutes, minutes.
No, I.
There we go,
have
found it.
guests here,
There
that's
you go.
how we-
We do?
Yeah,
All right.
Where?
that's the stats.
Oh, I thought you were here for the town meeting calendar.
No, she's
Okay.
here for the appointment of election workers.
Oh, yeah. That's different than what you're asking.
You asked that?
Yes. We have 2 appointments for
So
the
this is for Cable Advisory.
Cable
Committee, yeah.
Advisory. Kerry Reddington at 16 Valley Road, North
Yeah. Will you read the
Reading.
motion?
Okay, yes, I will read the motion. Do I sound out of practice?
That's all right.
Mr. Chairman, I move to place in nomination the following names for appointment to the Cable Advisory Committee to fill an indefinite term. Kerry Reddington, 16 Valley Road, North Reading. Mike Spreha, it's pronounced actually, 19 Pine Glen Drive, North Reading.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Yule, second by Mr. Fode. How many positions are available there, does it say?
They don't say how many positions are available. I believe that's open-ended, if I recall, because there were quite a few on them before.
Mhm.
I'm beginning to pull the information in for the Cable Advisory Committee.
There's no limit on that. There's no limit.
Right, that's what I
Okay.
thought, okay.
All right, so we can
Thank
just
you,
do
Mike.
a...
So I had passed on to you, or it should be in your Dropbox, the Citizens Activity Record. Did you see that? Okay, did anybody have any questions? I
No.
spoke to Mike, I actually didn't get a chance to speak with Carrie, I did leave a message for her, but, the information on there is self-explanatory, so if anybody has any questions.
Mr. Prisco.
No, I'm excited that these 2 individuals stepped up to join this committee. There's a lot of work to be done this particular year, and next year, we have to start our renegotiations with Comcast.
And
And-
Verizon.
And, well, Comcast first,
Yeah,
and we really need to get that process going, and I'm hopeful that they'll be able to recruit an additional people, because they're not going to be able to do it themselves. So I'm hoping anybody's home listening, and you're going to need at least 2 or 3 more people to be
Right.
participate in this. It's going to be a detailed negotiation, and there is what is it called, the NORCAM,
Right.
also hasn't had any real adult supervision to turn to, and, missing, because the Cable Advisory Committee's been defunct for so long. So this is a fantastic step in the right direction. So I'm in full support of these 2 people.
okay, so I'm going to ask for a roll call, Mr.
Mr. Chairman, I do have 3 community members that are wishing to continue to serve. They've already been previously appointed. Edward Parrish, Edward Strobe, and John Ferriello.
Very
So there's
There's 3 members
3 more
already.
members.
3 more. And I want to review those, I haven't seen their names. John Ferriello is the chairman for NORCAM, and I want to see how that equates to the Cable Advisory Board and so on. So I'm going to look at those 2 in the next meeting, we can make a decision on those 3. But I did attend the annual meeting, and it was a good meeting. They have a lot of things that they're working on. I think the most important thing in the discussion that they brought up was that they have not been getting the cooperation from the cable companies that they need to provide some of the services to the community that they would like to do, would like to accomplish. And, we've had issues with the quality of sound in the past. I don't know if that's been recent or not. I usually listen to it on YouTube, but and there's no problem with the sound there, but as far as the TV is concerned, I can't say lately whether that's been an issue. But there are things that they want to do, and they're really looking for the support of the Board of Selectmen and/or the Cable Advisory Committee. So things are happening, and we're moving forward on that.
Well, Mike just mentioned the fact that the contracts will be running out, first Comcast and then Verizon,
Right.
so that's their main job. And it's a perfect opportunity to put some leverage on both those corporations in terms of providing better services.
Yeah, and as they said, that Comcast doesn't listen to NORCAM, or Verizon doesn't listen to NORCAM. But if they were able to speak almost as if they were the Board of Selectmen, there'd be some weight. And that's an issue that we have to look at and see how.
Well, the process.
It comes
excuse me.
back to us. so.
Yeah, the process, really, my understanding is the cable companies really should be talking with the cable advisory, not NORCAM.
That makes sense.
That's my understanding of it. That's why I think this committee is very important to get it re-energized. So, I'm not surprised. And maybe we're at a point too where maybe we should invite Verizon and Comcast in separately, different meetings, and have them come before us along with the Cable Advisory Committee to attend here, and we can have an open conversation and make sure we get their commitment to the community.
Well, perhaps as liaison, Jeff, one of the things, there's 3 existing members we're going to appoint, maybe 2 tonight. That's 5, is maybe you can be instrumental in getting a meeting together.
Oh, yeah.
Getting them to have a
Oh,
formal
definitely.
meeting.
Oh, yes, we would
and
do
then
that. We would do
Get
that
that
right
thing
away.
rolling again.
Because there's no maximum, I don't know if there even being a minimum, but there's no maximum. So we can get the ball rolling on this. Okay. Any other questions?
Good. We got a motion?
Yeah, I read the motion.
Okay, let's do a roll call, because there's 2 members in.
All right.
Make sure.
Mr. O'Leary, absent. Mr.
Okay,
Prisco?
Mr.,
Oh, sorry.
you read the motion, right?
Yes.
So, Mr. Yule?
Yes.
No,
You have to
Just
state the 2 names you're.
state-
Oh, yes, Kerry Reddington and Mike Spreha.
Mr.
Kerry Reddington and Mike Spiegel.
Kerry Reddington and Mike Spehar.
And the chair votes Kerry Reddington and Mike Spirica? How do you pronounce that?
He
Spreha.
says Spehar.
Spreha.
Spreha.
It's a Polish name,
Okay.
that's why.
Well, I apologize for killing it. Okay,
Okay,
that's passed.
all right.
All right, next item is election workers. Mrs. Stats?
Thank you, gentlemen. This is just our annual appointment and reappointment of election workers under Mass General laws. You all have my memo of July 16th. So the process is just that any persons who wish to be appointed as election officials notify their town, the town Democratic or Republican chairman, or in the case of unenrolled voters, the Board of Registrars through our office. And then the Board of Registrars meet and review the names and forward their recommendation to the Selectmen. And that's what you have in front of you. We have, I believe, 70 names, some new, some continuing, most of them continuing, to be election workers for the period of September 1 through August 30th each year. And so this one would cover 3 elections in that time period. And we do forward that to you for your vote. The Selectmen have 3 options under the Mass General laws, and one is to take upon the task of appointing election workers yourself and assigning them to positions, which I would welcome you to do if you would like.
Thank you.
I know. Or appoint the election workers from the list submitted by the registrars, or if you choose to take no action, then by a certain date, that action just falls to the registrars to make the appointment anyways. Historically, this board has chosen option 2 to go along with the recommendation of the Board of Registrars, and that's what I am hoping that you will do again today. I would like to just chime in and say that this group of individuals really performs a great task for the town. They look forward to it all the time. They're very diligent in their duties, and they take it seriously. They attend the trainings that we put on, and the town is really indebted to them for their service. They really do take it seriously, and I fully appreciate their service to the community and in helping me out, in our office. Each year, we do have some that drop off because they just are no longer interested, and unfortunately, some have passed on, and we miss them greatly. But we have a great core of people here who take their job seriously and do a good service for the town.
So I'm just going to ask the board for a consensus on, is everybody in support of option 2? This is historically what we've done in the past.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
At this point, any questions for Barbara
Any
before we read
questions
the
on the
motion?
process or anything?
We're very thankful they're all coming back.
I am too, trust me.
Yeah, they do a great job. They
They
really
do,
do.
they
And,
really do. Yeah.
Keep us in line.
It's not easy.
Just read 2.
It's a long day, and
Right.
there's a lot of training that goes on.
Yes, Ms. Prisco?
How many elections do we have this year?
3.
With
The
3.
September 9th state primary, the November, I believe it's the second state election, and then I think it's the May 5th, 2015 town election. So 3, barring any specials.
Right.
All right, gentlemen?
I
Nothing
don't
in the
think we
budget
have
for
any.
that.
We don't have any planned at the moment.
I know, we have no money.
Never know.
So 3 would cover it for this
3.
one. And this is an annual appointment process, so
Thank you.
Mr.
you're
Yule?
welcome.
Yes. Mr. Chairman, I move to exercise the following option for appointment of election workers for elections held between September 1, 2014 through August 31, 2015. Number 2, appoint election officers from the list submitted by the registrars as recommended by the registrars.
Do I hear a
Second.
second? Second by Mr. Fode. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous.
Thank you very much,
Thank you.
gentlemen.
Thank you, Barbara.
Thank you. Have a pleasant evening.
You too.
Mr. Chairman, point of order. We did not make a motion on China cuisine. I'm just noticing that
There's
here.
there's only
So we
information.
can do that now?
We can?
Okay. Mr. Chairman, I move to accept the short-term surrender of the common vittlers and all alcohol license from China Cuisine, 235 Main Street, for the period of July 27th through July 31, 2014.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Yule, second by Mr. Fode. Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous? Thank you, Jeff, for that. Okay, we have the town finance director here.
Said she's in no hurry. She can stay
Prepared.
all night.
To
Yeah.
give us an update on
She
theirs.
doesn't have a life. This is her life. Jane, be careful. I don't want the light to hit you in the face.
Yeah.
You may want to move just I want to see you get blind at your second meeting.
Is that what it is, or do you want the one?
Nice sleeping lighting.
Just gonna take a moment to warm up. Okay, thank you for having me tonight and giving me the opportunity, as well as the assessor and the treasurer collector, to just go give the board and the residents an update on Munis billing. So, as many of you know by now, after receiving your new tax bill, we began this process of implementing Munis tax back in October of 2012 when town meeting approved the purchase of the rest of the Munis modules to have a fully integrated financial management system. So after a lengthy and grueling implementation, we went live with Munis tax the beginning of June. And so we ran our tax bills that are due August 1st in Munis. So you will notice that the tax bills have a new look to them, but however, they still have all the same legal information on there. You have your parcel ID, you have your map and lot, you have a bill number, you have your assessments. All of that information is the same. It's just in a different look. So the only few differences that you need to take note to, and we've discussed this and we have published this in the transcript as well as on our website, is that the trash service fee will no longer be billed on your tax bill. The trash service fee will be billed separately until January of 2015. Then trash will be billed on your water bill. In Munis, trash is considered a utility, so as well as water. So that is why we can combine trash and water on the same bill. If we had it on the tax bill, it was a special programming. They've never had to do that, so we weren't interested in finding out what the fee would be for that. So where we had an avenue of billing it on a bill, so we weren't, creating more bills, we chose to just have it be on the utility billing. So with that said, trash and water in January 2015 will have be on the same bill, and they'll have the same due date. Also, trash and water bills for the majority of the town are going out within the next few weeks, and they'll be due September 15th. Both trash and water will be due September 15th. There are some water accounts that will not be part of that billing, but the majority of the town will be on that billing. And then the second difference to note is exemptions and/or abatements are not calculated on preliminary tax bills. However, this was the case in the past, but it's not how you're supposed to do things. So by going with Munis, it allowed us to bill correctly and not according to Mass General law. So we did do it in the past, but it's no longer going to be on the preliminary tax bills. It will be on the actual tax bill, which is due February 1st, which goes out at the end of December. Any questions on that?
Yeah, the bill that we just got was for August 1st. Now you're talking February 1st.
Preliminary is due August 1st, and then you have one that's due
that's
November.
right.
Then you have one that's due November 1st, and then we set the tax rate a week or so before Thanksgiving,
Right.
and then the actual tax bills for FY15 go out, after Christmas, and
Right.
they're due February 1st.
So to reiterate on the billing, as in the past, those who had abatements, the abatement was deducted or displayed on the bill in the past, whereas now it's not. They're gonna see a
Not so
whole
much
bill?
the abatement, but the exemption.
Exemptions, okay.
Right.
It was calculated as part of a reduced tax amount.
But now it's not gonna show that. Now you're gonna show what you really should have paid now.
That will show on
exemption.
your actual bill,
Right,
the
okay.
exemption, where it's supposed to be. Okay, so this is just, sorry, Michael?
I have a question on the next slide, so we'll hold off on that one.
Okay.
You had mentioned something about the water bills.
Yes.
So not 100% of the water bills will go out. You said some of them won't, and the reason why is that because of how we read the meters?
Exactly, yes.
So how do they get caught up? Do you do a separate billing for those individuals that didn't get a bill?
Yes, it's according to when they're read. So some of them that were, say, in winter, February or so, when they couldn't get at the meter.
Yep.
Those were billed at a different time. So then they're not on the same cycle. So, but they do get caught up. So they just won't be due September 15th. Trash for everybody
Right.
will be due September 15th.
That's
But
fine.
those accounts that just probably paid a bill recently, do we know the date when some of the water?
The water was due in August, in June.
Right, so some accounts paid in June, so they're not ready to pay again, and to be billed again.
Do you
So
have-
are we opening,
There you go.
are we opening up ourselves to the issue that we've had in the past where some people's quarterly water bill covers a period more than a quarter, and as a result, they get into a higher tier? We've had those complaints in the past.
I would
where-
defer that to the water department, but I believe that is true, and Mr. Fode is saying yes, so. But I don't know how many accounts that affects, so, but I can look into that.
But it is a continuing problem, and I don't know what the new water bill's gonna look like, but I know under the old one, it did tell you how many days it was until your
Mhm.
meter got read, and mine was consistently well over 100,
Mhm.
and it's supposed to be 90 days, right?
Yes. I think that, down the road, what we need to do is address that with a new meter system, but I know that is
I
very
understand, but the
expensive.
taxpayers shouldn't be paying at the higher tier,
I agree.
because if they
I
fall
agree.
over that 90 days, something, they have no control over that. And I have received a lot of calls, I know Mr. Fode has received a lot of calls, and we need to do whatever we can to rectify it. And especially with these new bills coming out, we should also do whatever we can. I don't know if we have to add another person on.
I was just gonna say that, I know that we only have one employee that does the entire, town, so,
Maybe it's a subject, obviously, of another meeting,
Yeah.
but in this, the new water bills, are they gonna have the amount of days it was that your meter was read, like the old
Yes.
ones?
Mhm. I agree, though, it's not fair to the resident that, just because they went
It's not.
100 days or 120 days, and everybody else went 90, that they,
And they
Yeah.
fall into that extra tier because
Mhm.
of those extra 10 or 11 days.
right,
Mr. Chair?
yes.
Liz, I know this doesn't come to you, but two ideas that, we used to do when I was in Somerville, when we couldn't get readings are, the property owner can call the reading into the water department.
Or
This way they're getting, or you can estimate
Yeah.
just for that one quarter based on the 4 previous actual bills.
Mhm.
It just makes sense, and then, even if you estimate it low, at least people, I'd rather err on the side of, of us as opposed to, to benefit them. So, my suggestion is we either come up with a plan for communicating with the properties that we didn't get reads from and ask them to call or read into us, or we give an estimated bill, so at least they're on the same cycle, number one, and number two, they're not getting billed at the highest tier.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think Joe, Liz's comment, that it really has to go back to the water department.
Right, no,
We have
and
a
again, I'm just
discussion
bringing it
with
up here, and
them.
I can reach out to Mark.
Michael.
But I think he brings up a good point. Can we show an estimate on the bills? Is it easy for us to do that if we ended up going with an estimate?
Shows a need.
We haven't done estimated bills in quite a few years. We've always just billed at a later date. So if the bill didn't get read, then as soon as they had a chance to go out to the property, they would go out and do a reading. So majority of the time, they do get read, but then there's probably, a couple hundred that get a second billing after the.
But Munis allows you to put an estimate in, no?
Oh,
Mhm.
Munis will.
That's what I'm talking
I don't know
about.
about currently, though, with our current software that we use.
Well,
But, no, we're transitioning
Yeah,
water,
we are,
so
we are.
we should be able to implement what Mr.
But
I
Fode
just
said.
think,
for the time being, I don't have a solution.
You know what an estimated bill does, though? If you estimate it low, the
Right.
following real bill, the next time
It's gonna be
around, is
really
gonna be high. So I
Right.
think this is really gonna require a discussion, a meeting with the water department. and-
Yep, you're right, we're not gonna
And
solve
see
it
if
yet.
there's another way of dealing with the issue, to try to keep everybody's reading. I can see where, if they can't get it all, the winter months is the big issue,
Mhm.
right? So there's gotta be a better way of dealing with it.
I agree.
And, And you can't go by the previous month, you've got to take an average for the year or
Right.
something, because.
Full quarters, yeah.
You know,
And it's-
summer water use is typically higher than winters.
And it's not just the winter months. My last water bill was 117 days.
Mhm. No, I understand. I'm just saying that, yeah, but if they can't keep up on an annual basis to get everybody, then we're in real trouble.
Mhm.
Okay.
Okay.
Move
So-
on.
Just to show, and I know I had to reduce the size, but just to show what the bill looks like now. The information here in the middle used to print on the back of your tax bill. It's just legal information that we need to note. Some of the questions that we've been having is that there is no remit on this part, where do you mail it to? So it is very small right here, 235 North Street. So we're contacting Munis to see if we can have that put where it says, the town of North Reading here, Office of the Tax Collector, see if we can put 235 North Street. And hopefully that will be changed. We also did put a little note here in the comment section that trash service fees will be billed with your water bill, just so we could give residents a heads up. We also did put the new information about the new tax bills coming, the new way to pay your bills online, as well as the trash service fee in the transcript on June 26th. And at that same time, then we sent out an email blast for the subscribers to the website, as well as posting it on the website. So we did try to get it out beforehand, and we have, through the whole process, been trying to inform, whether it was through the budget process or at different meetings, to let the public know of the upcoming changes.
Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Yule?
Yes.
and Mr. Christie.
Do we print these bills ourselves, or do we hire somebody else to print
No,
them
we
for
print
us?
them.
Okay. Can you highlight the billing information?
No. This is a form, so this, just because we print them in-house, this is a form, and so you'd have to pay for customization to Munis. So it prints out like this for everybody.
Right. So they
So
only
we'd
do
have
it
to
black and white.
individually hand highlight them.
No, I'm not suggesting that
Right.
by any means, but I mean, I receive bills where, not from North Reading, obviously, but I receive bills where they actually highlight the due date.
Mhm.
Okay, it just comes to me that way.
Mhm.
I'm sure they don't have anybody in there. doing
Right,
that. So
and
it's designed that way.
We also we print them to a black and white printer.
Right.
So if that was, I'm sure that they could, highlight in any color that we wanted to, that, the due date on it.
Right.
But we'd have to then print to a color printer to have that box printed.
Right.
So, that,
And
it
we
would just be
don't-
extra costs,
Take a
but.
while.
I wouldn't imagine it'd be that much. I did mean not only the bill date, but the address information rather than moving it around. If you just highlighted that address, where to send the bill to, if you highlighted that,
Mhm.
you wouldn't have to move it around. It's right there. And yes, you have to use the color portion of your printer, but the amount of color that you'd use on that one line, I don't think would translate into a significant amount.
I can ask what it would be, for them to highlight different categories for the bill to come out that way.
Right. Thank you.
Michael, you had something?
Well, I like the bill, it doesn't bother me. The font is small, but I think that's out of your control. Are you going to talk about online?
Yes.
Okay,
I'm
I'm
getting
going to hold on to my
Mhm.
question.
Mhm. So, any other questions on the actual bill? Okay. We are going to see if we can, it's form paper, so it's 3-part form paper, and again, we'd have to have it reprogrammed, or we'd just have to have the middle section, this middle section, blank, and see if we can get form paper printed with that on the back, just like it was before, and then we just use that form paper in the printer. So we are looking into different options. We're working out all of the kinks as we go. It really was the best bill that we could work with. We were given different choices, but according to Mass General Law, we had to have that information on there. And before we used to buy stock with that printed on the back, so we avoided that. We're just using blank stock right now, so we're checking into different options.
Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Yule.
Yes. In the last meeting, we talked about the July 4th committee. And normally in the past, we put a flyer in there if we had some additional information to provide on any given bill, but we'd have a little flyer in there. Does this not allow, or does this allow, I should ask, for us to put something on there, like a box there, and can make a contribution? Or is that, again, something special we'd have to do with
Right,
Munis
so,
that would?
I'm sorry. So in this comment box here,
Right,
this, we can go on and we can change that because it won't apply after a certain period about the trash service fees. So we can go on to the server and we can change that comment field. So we would be able to put something there, but again, I'd need to move all of this to the back because nobody is going to pay attention to this
Right,
little
right.
space there. We could put something on the website about donating, but modifying this form does cost money. It does cost money. So if we were to make modifications for some box to donate, it's an extra charge. But putting a flyer in with the tax bills is something that we have done in the past. So that's an option.
It's too bad the system isn't set up where you can actually access that on a monthly basis and make a change on a given line if you wanted to. It's too bad that they don't.
We can make a change on this comment line as many times as we want to, but
Right.
how do you bring every resident's attention to that?
Yeah.
It would go back to your idea of the highlight,
Highlighting it.
highlighting it.
Right.
I can see if that, maybe we can make it bold. I don't know. We
Yeah.
can work on it and see what our options are, but
Mr.
Thank you.
President.
We talked about doing something like this for the taxation
Yes.
aid committee.
mhm.
And one of the problems that comes into it is when the checks come in, and if the money's integrated with the tax bill, it's all going towards the tax bill. And we really don't have a system that can extrapolate that money. Then we have to ask them to put a separate check in there for the taxation aid committee. Again, it does become a laborsome operation. So it's not as easy as you may think, Jeff.
Right, okay.
I think it really has to be well thought through.
Putting it on the form is one thing.
I personally am not in
Process is
favor of putting the 4th of July on the bill. I'm not. I think the 4th of July thing is very important, but I've been asking about, for the seniors, this taxation aid, try to find a way to raise some additional funding for them.
Right,
I mean, in the scheme of priorities for me, that's where I'm lying right now. I think there's another option for the 4th of July, but I don't think it's on the tax bill. I'm just,
well, I wasn't, it could be, I think you bring up a very good point, that you have other committees and so on, so that can be put on there, other things. They don't have to be the same thing every time, because they can be seasonal. When you talk about taxes, it can be put on there at a certain time of year when it has a greater impact. July 4th is a great impact in July. The senior citizens, maybe it's a better impact in September, and so on. So that's all I'm saying, is that everybody can be included one way or another somehow. That's all I'm saying.
John, you have a question?
Do we know?
Can you come up to the microphone, please?
John Magazu, 4 Deer Run. Do we have a percentage of how many people actually pay their own tax bill and it's not paid directly from a mortgage service?
we have that idea, don't we?
We don't have an exact percentage, but, we send at least 5,600 bills to the mortgage company.
Oh, no, that's how many we get billed.
Right.
Probably, I'd probably say approximately 3,000. Loretta's our biggest mortgage company that sends us the checks, and when they do send it, it's probably a good, probably 3,000. They're a big chunk. I mean, I can
Well,
go-
percentage-wise, roughly.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I
Sounds
can get
sounds
the
like-
information because
sounds like
they send us
60%.
That's what I was just gonna say.
Yeah.
I'd say it's clearly
60.
over 60%.
Right.
probably closer to 80%.
I was going to say 75%
Yeah.
probably
Yeah.
that are mortgage company
Mhm.
paid, but we can get that information.
That-
Mr. Chair.
That your only question, John?
Well, I'm just going at, I think what you're trying to do is wonderful, but those 75 to 80% of the people will never read that part.
Yeah,
Or even open the bill, we find.
right. Good point.
Next.
You want to go on?
Okay, so to get to the online bill pay and how to pay your taxes online, we do have two different payment, online payment systems right now. And the reason we do is one is the new online payment for tax bills, so for personal property, real estate, and motor vehicle. And then we still have the old system of paying trash and water, and that will go away, and it will all be done through citizen self-service come January 2015. But we need to leave both of those up there for the time being so that everybody has the opportunity to pay their bill online. And we encourage, residents to pay their bills online on our website rather than through their own bank. And the reason for that is when residents pay through their own bank, it takes a while for the bank to send us a check, and the bank actually sends us a physical check. If you pay through our website, then we get that money deposited into our bank account. There's no timing issues. We don't have an issue, with timing. Sometimes we do when you pay through your bank. It takes the bank's time to send us the check, and we have to get it through mail and process it, and so sometimes there are timing issues with paying on your bank. So,
Bless you.
Thank you.
the new paying your bills online interface is called Citizen Self-Service, and it is, and I'll show you, the website in a moment, but Citizen Self-Service is real-time data, so you could log in at any time. There's no cutoff, where with the other way you would pay your bill online, after the due date, you couldn't pay your bill. You can still pay your bill after the due date. You can also access your historical account information. So if you need to know how much you paid in calendar year 2014, you can log on with your parcel ID and see your payment history. You can also do that for personal property. The only one that you can't do that for is motor vehicle. You can only see the current year's bill. So if you keep, that information, that's fine. We also will provide that. There is state law that surrounds motor vehicle that we need to keep that information private, and there's very strict governance over that. So when you log on to pay your motor vehicle excise tax bill online, you have to have your name exactly as it appears on your bill and the bill number that corresponds to that. Because anybody could, be looking for that information. So we have to keep that very tight. So we've also installed a self-service kiosk at the tax collector's office, which allows residents to come and make a payment online if they don't have access to the internet at home, or they want to pay by credit card. They can enter that information themselves. They can also look up their historical information, and they could access their assessing maps and anything to do with their property. That's available now, and it's at the window, and we have helped a few people with using the kiosk, and we've received good feedback. So that's a bonus that we have, and we didn't have that before. So the last thing that I want to discuss is that we've received a few complaints about scheduling of your tax payments. This was something that we were not aware of that you couldn't do through Citizen Self-Service, and the reason is because it's real time. It's you're doing it right then and there. However, we are working with our bank vendor, and they're writing a script to change this and allow for scheduling, and it will interface with Citizen Self-Service, and we're hoping that this will be complete for the November 1st due date, so the bills will go out at the end of September, and they'll be due November 1st. So we know that the bank is working on this with 2 other communities, so it is, an issue, and they are willing to help us with that. So hopefully, that will be complete by the November 1st due date.
Mr. Chair.
Mr. Foodie?
Liz, on the online, can you just remind everybody what the charge is for making an online payment?
The ACH charges 25 cents, right?
25 cents.
25
And then
cents?
the credit card, it depends on how much you're paying. There'll be a small fee that the bank charges for a credit card payment.
Thank
Mr.
you.
Prisco? You through, Joe?
You through?
No, I said thank you.
Yes, so I paid my taxes online like I always have, and I think it's a wonderful system, I really do. It's unfortunate, now we have to put in the parcel number or the account number. We have to do that, there's no way of going back to.
We can change that. We did it for secure reasons, but we could change it to bill number.
Because it's a lot of numbers,
Right.
and, and the font is pretty small. I have no problem with it, but I've talked to a few other people. And if we could go back to the bill number and be somewhat consistent with our trash bill and water bill would be helpful as well, if we could be that way.
The reason we did that is when we were implementing the citizen self-serve, there was,
Thank you.
when we were implementing citizen self-serve, there was questions about people being able to access other people's accounts. So if
Okay,
you don't
that's
have
true.
someone's map and parcel, anybody can go in by bill number. I know that, Mr. Smith is bill
Yeah.
number 5, so, all right, another Mr. Smith's gonna be bill number 6, 7, and 8. So by putting a map and parcel, you're not gonna be able to get the person's, you're really gonna have to do a lot of research to try to get the person that you're looking for's account. So that's why we did it that way.
Okay.
It is public information.
Right.
So you could come to town hall and ask for Mr. Fode's parcel ID. But we were just trying to limit, now that this is available and there's research capabilities, we were trying to limit the amount that people were searching on other,
Okay.
residents.
It is fine the way it is, but if you felt that it's more secure, and maybe this is a good question for the new town administrator too, to get his opinion on it.
And just another question, when you do pull up your motor vehicle bill, the address and the name will not show up. It will say suppressed because of the stalking laws. We had to suppress the name and address so people
Good.
could not get
That's
in there.
great.
So just so you know, when you do pull it up, it's going to say suppressed and you're not going to be able to see the name or address.
Okay.
Mr. Chair.
Mr. Yule?
Yeah. I have everything of mine on auto pay. So what will happen now with Munis coming into play? Will it automatically move over, or am I gonna have to go through the whole process again?
Auto pay through your bank?
No, online. I put the date there and
Yeah, through your bank, right? You do it on your.
no, I,
Through the town website?
on the town website.
What's missing
well,
right?
I do that, when I get the bill, I put it in, I put a date to pay,
Sure.
okay?
Okay.
All right,
So,
so,
Yeah.
like I said, that's the one thing that we are working on with our bank vendor. They're writing a script. Ourselves and 2 other communities are having that issue. And that residents are complaining that they can't schedule their payment. So there is not a scheduling option within Citizen Self-Serve, but they will be rectifying that. They're writing a script, and it should be available for the bills that are due November 1st. So they go out at the end of September, and hopefully we'll have that in place. So you can, log on September 30th and say, pay my bill November 1st. That's our hope, and if all goes well with them, that will happen. I
But
know
not
that they are
this.
working.
So your
Not
August
this
1st
cycle.
bill, you need to go in and make sure you manually do it.
It is not available for your tax bill that is currently in your hands due August 1st.
right.
It will hopefully be available, if all goes well, for your bill that is due November 1st.
So I do what you do, and I got the bill the day after I went to pay it and schedule it,
Yeah,
and I paid my bill quite early.
right.
And we thank you for that.
Yes, that's the answer I got.
Mr. Chair?
Mr. Fode.
Thank you. Liz, great job. So everybody who was involved, this is great presentation tonight. One of the things we talked about earlier was about, and, this is just, first of all, how do you, who stuffs in envelopes your bills? Is it done internally, or is?
It's done internally, and it's through the senior work-off program. The seniors stuff all the bills.
So if there were a situation where Citizen Taxation Committee or Fourth of July Committee, where they wanted to put something in there regarding donations, we could just put that maybe in there. I mean, it appears to me that water bills are going directly to the property owners, where sometimes tax bills aren't. So it could be something where we could talk to some of the committees and like you said, the Citizen Taxation Committee, if they want to put a stuffer in there and say you can make donations to these locations,
Right.
as opposed to putting them on the bills themselves.
We've done that.
Right, there will be a stuffer in the trash bills, or the water bills, going out, over the next few weeks, in regards to what I discussed tonight about trash and water and all of that. So we just would need to know ahead of time. It is a little extra work for the senior work-off employees, but, it's.
But at least this way, it'll give you the opportunity to have this information separate, and like I said, it'll give their contact information, where to send the check to them if you want to go ahead and do it, as opposed to.
So,
Michael.
so we went through a long dialogue on this subject. And the reason why we were looking at putting it on the bill, and no, we were never looking at the real estate bill, because we knew a lot of them did go through the mortgage companies. We were actually looking at the trash bill, the water bill. We were looking at how they do it over in Middleton, and it's a very neat setup, and they use Munis as well, I believe. So that's all we were trying to do. We did do a flyer, and what we did learn is a lot of people never even opened up the insert, unfortunately. So that's why putting on the bill, it's right in their face, and we're leaning towards the trash bill.
So I did make note to see if there is a way now, an option to add a donation, and then it automatically posts even if they, say their taxes are $2,000 and they make it out for 2020, that 20 of it would go to wherever the donation was. So I'm gonna see if Munis, if that has the capability. They do have, it would be what they call a charge code, so it's behind the scenes setup, so it could be a possibility, so it's worth a question. Okay, so we also, worked out another kink that we didn't realize would be an issue, is with the parcel ID, you do not include the dashes. So I know several residents called and they had to try it, many times because they were including the dashes. So now we've put a little note that says do not enter dashes with parcel ID. So hopefully people read the screen and.
They're never gonna get, you gotta get rid of the dashes in the bill.
I don't know if we can, but we can try. So I will make a note of that. Oh, I know, I'm changing it here. I have to go back, sorry. Oh, okay, doesn't matter. It would pull it up either way, yeah. So here's what it looks like when you pull up your bill online. You can, do a search on all bills, owner information. There's a whole slew of things. View payments and adjustments. I pulled up a town property, so it's exempt. I didn't want to pull up, a real residence property, but this is what it would look like if you logged on from home.
It's great. I tell you, I played around with it. It's very good. And by the way, I believe if you are late, it will apply whatever your
It'll.
penalty,
It
right?
will, yes.
Yeah.
It's real time, so
Real time.
it calculates the interest
Yeah.
as every day goes.
Yeah, before we didn't
No.
have that, right, so
Right.
which is good.
Mhm. Any questions?
Just a comment. I think this is, a big step forward. Clearly, there's a few little kinks that need to be fixed, but, I think this is real progress, and I'm much appreciative of the fact that we're now moving this thing along, so that at some point we'll have a fully integrated
Yes.
tax billing system and in place, so.
It's
I
been
know it was a lot of hard work,
Yes.
and it's much appreciated, and all those that have participated, thank you.
Yes, and I appreciate everybody's patience with it, it's a lot of work for setup and go live, and we ran dual systems until June 30th, for reconciliation purposes, to make sure that everything was captured. So it, has been a lot of staff time and hard work and patience, so I know that the three of us appreciate all of our staff's time and, patience with it. It will be a great system, and it is a great system. I know that the collector's office is enjoying how everything is integrated in posts and all that. So it will be even better when water and trash are in here, and we can pull up, your address, and we see everything associated with your address in one, where right now, and even in our prior system, it was on different screens, so.
And who should the public contact if they have any questions?
Sure. So, it's like you knew my presentation.
Okay.
If you have questions in regarding your property assessment or values, you should contact the assessor's office. Their number is listed on the website under Departments and Assessor's Office. Their number is 978-357-5221. And anybody in that office can answer questions, but you can always choose to speak with the assessing manager, Debbie Carboni. And if you have questions in regarding making tax payments or tax payments that you've made, or anything to do with payments or your bill, or even citizen self-service, the tax collector's office is where you would like to call for that, and that is also listed on the town's website, but their phone number is 978-357-5220, and you can speak with any of the staff in the tax collector's office, or you can choose to speak with the treasurer, tax collector, Mary Ann McKay. So that is the latest Munis billing update. There will be another one. I would say probably we could do this again in December before the water bills, go out, and hopefully citizen self-service is, we have the scheduling option by then, and, we have more under our belt to answer questions that may come up. But that covers it for tonight.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Just one thing. I really would encourage the community to pay the bills from the town's website. It really is user-friendly. Once you go through it, you may think it's a little scary, but it's not. It's really real easy, but it's also very instant. And it's nice because you get a follow-up email confirming it, which is great. You have that piece of paper. It doesn't matter, even if the money for somehow it disappears, you have an instant confirmation in your hand. So rather than go through your own bank, I highly encourage the community to really take advantage of the town website option to pay your bills online. And I'm talking all your bills, your excise tax, your trash bill, your real estate bill, etc. So you did a great job in this. This was a huge mountain to climb. And I know we're not at the top yet, but we certainly can see it from where we're standing now. So thank you.
Yes. Just one other thing in regards to what you were saying, Michael, is that even down the road, it allows for residents to sign up for paperless billing. You would just have to create an account and then choose that option, and then your bill would be emailed to you. Or you could choose not even to have it emailed and just log on and see your bill. So these are things that we can do down the road, but we need to start making sure that everybody just received their bill, in hard, copy, and then we can work on those avenues. if that's what some residents choose. I mean, I know that myself, I would prefer that. And so we'll see how it evolves, but that we do have, ways to increase utilization of this website.
And just one last thing, if there's an interest in the public, could we have a training session for the public to come in, maybe set up a few computers in here and walk them through it?
Absolutely.
And I'd volunteer to be
Mhm.
one of the trainees because, the trainers, excuse me, because I think it's worthy of it.
Mhm.
Especially
Absolutely.
those
I mean,
folks that are a little
that's-
concerned about doing stuff online.
This is,
If you want to come in
Great
and
idea.
do it, I think it's a good thing we should think about doing.
Mhm.
Get the feedback, maybe talk to some of your senior staff people, and see if they would be interested.
Oh, I know that there's employees that work in the collector's office that would be, would love to do that. I mean, they've helped with, like I said, the self-service kiosk, walking residents through how to pay their bill right then and there. So, that would be a great idea.
Jeff?
Yeah, I tend to agree with you, paying on the town website is the best way to do it. I find it better anyway. But what's the benefit to the town? Is there a benefit to the town, dollars and cents wise?
Absolutely. Well, first of all, what we have to do is you pay your bill through your bank, say it's Bank of America. Well, many times, doesn't mean that it has to be from Bank of America, it could be from Century
Right.
Bank, it can be from Winter Hill. They have the wrong information in the memo field that when we get the check. So they actually cut a physical check, they mail it, there's no remit or anything, and we spend a lot of man-hours searching for where we're supposed to apply this payment. And then when we finally do, we need to print out the bill, so we're then using more paper, as the bank used more paper, and then we have to take all those checks and post them individually. Whereas if, for example, your mortgage company pays, it comes in a file, we upload that file, and there's no checks involved, no, printing of tax bills involved. If you pay through our website, it automatically posts to your account. So we are not, depositing a physical check to the bank, nor are we printing out a tax bill. So it's man-hours, it's paper,
Right.
it's, a lot of things.
So two things. It's first of all, it's labor intensive for the town.
Mm-hmm.
All right. From a customer service perspective, does any of this equate to a late payment as a result?
Oh, there have
Okay,
been,
so,
yes.
so there's a lot of time in there. So I think it's important for the community to understand
And
that.
it's not
we appreciate
timing
it.
on our part, it's timing on when
I
the
understand.
individual's bank sends the check.
Right.
We've had a few instances where they say, well, I scheduled my,
Yeah.
payment to be paid on November 1st. Well, it would be November 15th when we receive the check, and we, have no control over that.
Right.
So we don't know that you paid, or you scheduled your payment for November 1st.
Right.
So if you schedule your payment for November 1st, when we have
Yeah.
that option available on our website, it will be November 1st that payment posts to your account. That payment, that those funds are available in our bank, and, so forth. So,
So
there,
for simplicity purposes, go to the town website.
yes.
I would agree.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you, Liz.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to start back at the top of the agenda here. We have minutes of May 14, 2014 regular session. Let's see here.
Give me a second.
We're not talking about it, no.
Okay. We have here, Mr. Chairman, I move to approve the May 14, 2014 regular session minutes as written.
Motion by Mr. Zoll.
Second.
Do we hear a second? Second by Mr. Fode. Any discussion?
No, sir.
Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous. We have an executive session for May 14th. Mr. Yule.
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve the May 14, 2014 executive session minutes as written.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Yule, seconded by Mr. Fode. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous. And we have the July 7th regular session minutes.
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve the July 7, 2014 regular session minutes as written.
Do we have a
Second.
second? Second by Mr. Fode. Discussion?
No, sir.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Give our new secretary a round of applause.
Yep.
We have the executive session of July 7th.
Yes,
Mr. Yule.
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve the July 7, 2014 executive session minutes as written.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Yule, second by Mr. Fode. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Unanimous. We have legal bills for June. Mr. Yule.
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve the legal bills for June 2014 in the amount of $5,833.54 as follows. Koppelman and Page, PC General, $4,393.54. Koppelman and Page, PC Labor, $1,440, for a total of $5,833.54.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Yule, second by Mr. Fode. Any discussion? This wraps up the year, right?
You asking me?
No.
Say it again?
This wraps up the year,
Correct,
right?
yes.
They're all
Right.
current.
Correct, June.
Yeah.
Correct.
Right, okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous? Anyone here for public comment? Okay, we have signed a lease agreement on Article 19, 2014 annual town meeting. I'm going to pass over that, Michael.
Correct.
The attorney did not get the agreement to us. Have you called Darren Klein on that? See if you
We're
get-
we're working with Sharon.
I know, but she,
It's
you know,
it's not her end. It's
it's on their end?
correct.
Okay.
He's been on vacation, their attorney.
Oh, I misinterpreted what
Yeah.
she said. I thought it
She's
was-
waiting for them to get back.
She's waiting,
Yes.
okay.
She's been on top of it.
Okay, so that'll be in our agenda for next meeting.
Should be.
Okay, next item on our agenda is to discuss our upcoming meeting schedule. Thank There is. So the warrant closes on October 18th. And our October meeting schedule, why don't we look at that? Joe, you were saying you have,
I have to take a class, Mr. Chair, from September 29th to November 3rd, which would encompass 3 meetings, one being October town meeting, which I naturally would attend, and I would miss the class that night, but then I still have a conflict on October 20th and November 3rd. I was
okay, so
hoping-
we'll get to that then, Joe. I thought you said something in August.
No.
Oh, okay. So August, our first regular meeting is the 4th, and then our second meeting is the 18th.
Right.
So I guess the question I have, is everybody available for those 2 regular August dates? It's Michael.
I'm not sure, we have not missed a meeting all summer. I was going to propose that we don't have a meeting on August 4th. That's the first day the new town administrator is sworn in. That gives him an opportunity to have 2 weeks under his belt before we have a meeting. And quite frankly, we've been going at it without a break. So I don't know how other board members feel, but I'd like to propose that we don't have a meeting on August 4th. I just don't see anything in the really that's pressing, that's going to force us to have a meeting unless you feel otherwise. And then we just go with the August 18th as our, just
Well,
one
we
meeting in
have-
August.
We have the one item of signing that lease agreement that's hanging out there. Any comment, Michael?
Just, not as far as the, not having a meeting goes, just for future, the September 8th is the last day to sign the warrant, so I'm not sure how much time in between you're gonna need to
Yeah.
discuss the warrants, and the warrant for October town meeting. And that only, I think, gives you one meeting in between.
Okay. I just throw it out there, because usually we only have one meeting in July. We ended up having two, so that's perfectly fine. None of it, my schedule's fine. I can make all the meetings at this
All
point.
right, But let's schedule the meeting, and when we get down to looking at some of the things we need to do, maybe there's a couple of things that we can add to that agenda.
As far as the room goes, only the August 25th is unavailable. I think the school committee is meeting on that date here.
Well,
That doesn't-
they've been meeting the 11th,
No,
they
yeah.
they meet the second and fourth Monday.
Yeah, they'll be up at the new school by then.
Well, no. I was told, if you need to reschedule, any day but the 25th.
Yeah, we're not.
So I'm not sure if they reschedule for the 25th, but they're not gonna be ready at the school.
Well,
by
that
then.
would be their normal meeting date.
Yeah, so that, but that's the only day that they are planning on meeting in here.
Oh,
So
I
if
see,
you
so
needed
they're
to
only planning
reschedule-
on meeting in August.
Correct.
Mhm.
If you need to schedule, go to 3 weeks and then schedule from there, you could have that day.
Mhm.
At that point, we're gonna,
Let's come back to the August 4th after we finish this whole thing. So then September, we have, our normal meeting dates would be,
8th and 22nd, I think, because the first is...
well, no.
no, it'd be the 1st and the 15th.
Right, but first is Labor Day, so
First is Labor Day.
typically
We'd
we've
go
met
that
on the
Tuesday.
Tuesday. So is everyone okay with that? The problem is we can't have it on the 8th because the school committee meets on the 8th.
I see, okay.
Yep.
So we'd have to do it
Or we have to
Tuesday.
find another meeting place.
I think at that
But they should
point,
be in that school.
yeah, at that point, they'll be at the school.
Yeah, they gotta be in
That's
school.
fine.
They're just anticipating August, from what
Okay.
my understanding.
In fact, I think
That was
school
this-
starts on the 8th instead of the 2nd, right? Usually, it's the first day after Labor Day that they start school, but this time they're gonna start the 8th?
The 8th this year, yep.
Yeah.
So, what are the wishes of the committee on that?
So you're saying
I'm good with the
9/2 and
2nd and the
9/15.
We could do 8th and 22nd, because there are 5 Mondays in September.
That's if the school's at the school. We're assuming that, right?
Well,
It should be.
worst case, even if they weren't, we'd find a place.
That would be good, the 8th.
So-
I'm okay
that
with the
work?
8th. I don't know how it works for everyone else.
So 9, 8, and 22?
Yep.
Works for me.
So did we decide, I don't mean to go back to August, but did we decide to do the 4th and the 18th?
Haven't yet.
I said we're gonna come back to that
Okay.
after we discuss what we have and
Okay.
things that we want to move forward. Okay. And then October town meeting is on the
6th.
6th.
October
6th. So the warrant closes on August 18th for citizen input.
Correct.
Typically, do you know what the cutoff date is when we sign the warrant?
The September 8th.
September 8th,
Right.
okay. Okay, that's on the other.
Yeah, that works with
Look,
our
I
meeting
just
schedule
flipped,
now. That works perfectly.
Okay. September 8th, okay, the 11th, the warrant to the printer, 15th. Informational hearings, 18th.
So we're gonna move those BOS informational hearings to the 22nd, right? based on the way we just scheduled the meetings?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Warrant gets mailed out.
Oh, they must have them by the
Not gonna-
22nd. Oh, that may not work.
Not gonna have enough time.
I must ask, when you say informational hearings on the 22nd?
That's when we review the warrant
Oh, okay.
prior to town meeting. Yeah, maybe we should go back and consider meeting on the 2nd and the 15th.
Yeah. I mean, I'm okay with leaving the 8th and just doing, back to back. But I don't know how others feel about it. I don't know if anybody's on vacation that week or not. No, go to the
I have
second,
a-
that's fine.
September's, no, either one. September's
Yeah, that's
open for
fine.
me.
Did you mean the 8th and the 15th?
Yeah, but the second's fine.
Well,
Because that's
Get
the
back
last
to
week before the
back.
kids go back to school, so
yeah.
some people may be away. I
Well-
kind of like the 8th and the
Okay,
15th.
I'm good.
8th and 15th, and if we need another meeting, we'll schedule it. Okay?
Sure.
And then October, we'll have October town meeting, and then we'll meet on the 20th, unless something comes up.
So that's the issue I have, Bob. I have a conflict on the 20th and November 3rd,
Okay.
if it's at all possible, to move it to the Tuesday.
So you have an issue on the 20th,
Mm-hmm.
and what other date?
November 3rd.
Okay, I see.
So you're looking for Tuesday, like the 21st?
So November 21st, I'm sorry, not November 21st.
October.
October.
October 21st.
Problem with the 3rd is the 4th is election day.
You know what we could do, Bob, for November? Because December has,
Yes. Go the 10th and 20th.
yeah, we could do the 10th and the 24th, and then go to the 8th and the 22nd for December.
Okay.
Well, let's talk about.
No,
No, he didn't say
I know, I'm
21st October.
because it kind of works. There's 5 Mondays
Yeah, because there's 5 Mondays in
in
December.
December.
That would be very helpful. I'd appreciate it.
Is it 10th and the 24th?
8th and the 22nd.
Thanksgiving,
Sorry, Bob, you said 8th and the 22nd of
That's December.
December.
November. Thanksgiving, oh, perfect. Yeah, that works out.
Question about the 10th and the 24th in November. Isn't the purpose of spacing the school committee meetings and the Board of Selectmen meetings on alternate Mondays so that people have the opportunity to go to both of them actually, rather than have to make a decision on whether to go to one or the other? I mean, I understand
Where are they?
they're not all well
We
attended and so
We
on,
have
but
run our meetings together on, we've been more careful about it as a result of them meeting here.
no, but I know in the past, out of necessity, we've had conflicts, but I think,
Right.
but this, I mean,
No,
this is out of
we
convenience, so.
historically have taken 5 Monday months and moved the dates around.
Yeah,
I'm not too
It's not
concerned
uncommon.
about that.
No. I just think that if we can avoid having a meeting the same night as another elected body, we should do whatever we can to avoid that.
No, there's nothing to guarantee that they don't change their date,
Well,
either, so
I understand that.
I think this set a date, so it'd be August 4th and 18th,
total.
Sep-
That's what you're-
September 8th and 15th,
Mhm.
October 6th and 21st,
Thank you.
November 10th and 24th, and December 8th and 22nd. And of course, along the way, we certainly can change it.
Yeah, because Steve's not here, and he may have a conflict with something,
Right.
but I think it's good for planning if we could lock it in tonight.
I'm sorry, Bob, what did you do for the August time you had?
August 4th
4th?
and the 18th,
Okay. Back
as
to
it
that.
stands right now.
Okay.
Then September 8th and 15th. And if we need an additional meeting, it would be on the 22nd as a result of issues that need to be resolved for October town meeting. And then October 6th is town meeting, and we would meet on the 21st, which is a Tuesday. And in November, we would meet on the 10th and the 24th, and December, the 8th and the 22nd.
Perfect.
Mr. Chairman, thank you for the dates that accommodate my scheduling. I appreciate that.
And we'll
And-
review them with
and-
Steve,
and
and if
board
there are
members
other
also.
issues, we'll discuss it again.
Yeah.
Okay. So, we'll be signing the warrant on September 8th. The warrant goes to the printer on the 11th, which doesn't involve a meeting. We'll have a meeting, informational hearings on the 15th, so that doesn't change from the schedule. The 18th, the warrant gets mailed to residents. We have to have it by the 22nd. And September 25th and October 2nd, meeting advertised on the front page of the transcript, and 6th is the town meeting. Street acceptances and information will be September 15th. I don't know, do we have a list of items, Michael, that are already proposed for articles at town meeting?
Compiling.
Compile?
Yeah, it's not complete.
Okay. Could we have a preliminary list for our next meeting?
Yes.
I know you won't be sitting there, but I know you've been working closely with Michael
Yes.
Gilberto.
There we go.
Okay, the next item on our agenda, Jeff just going to give us a brief update on the Tennessee gas pipe thing.
Okay. Bless you.
Thank you.
I did forward to you some information on the activity that has occurred with the Tennessee Pipeline Coalition. It is now going to be called the Northeast Municipal Gas Pipeline Coalition. That'll be the official name, the acronym being NMGPC. We discussed that today, and they decided that that's the name that they would use out of much discussion. The issues confronting the coalition and what the responsibility is going to be is pretty much described in the mission statement. I don't know if anyone has had a chance to read that. That's on the information that I sent to you for the meeting dated 7/14/2014, which the mission statement reads, "To gather knowledge and work collaboratively as a coalition of municipalities to provide representation and information to relevant government and public bodies concerning the proposed Tennessee gas pipeline project proposed by Kinder Morgan and its effect on our communities." Now, what they have been doing right now is to determine really the role that they would play. And at this point in time, it's informational. That's how they see their role. The makeup of the coalition is diverse. There are some that are just completely against the pipeline at all costs, and there are those who feel that the pipeline is inevitable and that we need to find the best alternative routes for the pipeline. So it's right now it's in flux. We've had, we've had 3 meetings so far. I've attended 2. There'll be another meeting this Monday in Draycote. I hope to eventually have a meeting here in North Reading, because they are bouncing around from community to community. The big issue for us, for our board, and I brought this up in the discussion today, is that, this was brought to our attention by our property owners. They've expressed concern, they're concerned about the value of their properties being affected, and so on. And from my perspective, if that was all answered, if that was all resolved, I mean, the coalition may not have be a tool for us or be necessary for us to participate. So we as a board have to decide whether we want to be a member of the coalition. Now, they are going to send a letter. I also included that. That letter will be going out. They inadvertently had Reading. I corrected them on that. It's North Reading, not Reading. A letter to hopefully delay part of the process so that they could have time to have information gathered that would be benefit to the communities that are involved. That letter will be going to, obviously, all state officials, local officials. Martha Coakley is going to be involved in this as far as receiving the letter as well. And obviously, our U.S. Senator and U.S. Congressman, the congressman of each community is going to receive this letter just asking for a delay in the process. Chances are that's not really going to happen, but the coalition feels that they have to be proactive in addressing the issue because this is happening quickly, and we, as a coalition, the coalition is really behind the eight ball, trying to catch up and get up to speed with what the activity that's going on by Kinder Morgan. I think from our perspective is that as representatives of the community, we have a responsibility to protect and stand up for the property rights of all of our citizens. We also have a responsibility to protect the real estate within our borders, which that goes beyond just the property owners. So, and what I mean by that is that we have a responsibility to protect, for example, our water supply, if this pipeline could possibly have an impact in that regard. FERC, which is the deciding agency on this, the approving agency, although they will have included in the process any input that they receive, their primary consideration is there a need? And that's what they're going to determine their decision on. Kinder Morgan, for example, there have been 2 rejections in the past, I think, 10 years, and Kinder Morgan, though, has never been denied approval by FERC. And so, again, the coalition is gathering information. We'll have more information next week, and the object right now is to pass that information on to us so that we can help each other make educated and positive decisions for our own community. Do we want the coalition to be a vehicle that we, on our behalf on some issues? That's something that we would have to decide as we go forward.
So I do have a question then. One, thank you for attending and trying to stay current with what's going on. I see towns attending. There seems to be this coalition group. Is it still informal? Are there communities that are actually part of this?
Yes,
Because it
Groton
doesn't
Groton
say.
has, if you, there are, I forget the number, but there's about 13 towns that are overall involved. Some are attending to find out information, so they can learn more about it. Some are there because they're committed to the coalition and they're going to be part of the coalition. and others are, for example, Tingsboro. They are there for fact-finding information. Their issue with Tingsboro was that they, when they called for a meeting on this, they didn't have a show by the community. There were not that many people showed to be at the hearing. And so they, felt, well, the citizens are not concerned about it, then we're not concerned about it. But they still are attending the meetings and playing a role and giving input. But what their opinion was, for their circumstance right now, they didn't want the committee to speak on their behalf at that point. And in fact, the letter, they wanted the name to be taken off the letter to the, even though they support the letter, they didn't want their names to be included in the letter to the representatives of the state, with reference to Kinder Morgan in the pipeline.
So yeah, I guess you didn't quite answer my question, maybe you don't have the answer to it. So, this group, when we had our public hearing, there was a couple of people handing out material. Were
Right.
those members of this group?
I think Drake, I think they were from Drake, if I recall, and yes, they would be part of the group. The gentleman that stood up to our left,
Yes, right.
he was from Drake, okay? He'd be part of that group. There are other groups of which I hope to address that, because I don't know who the other groups are, but you have the environmental groups and so on. They're all going to be involved in one way or another. They're not involved in our coalition, but there's apparently there's a big move throughout the state to stand up against the Tennessee gas pipeline. And everyone's doing it as individual groups. I'm forgetting the term right now, but the coalition can be darn it. They can represent at FERC on behalf of towns, and there's a term for it, I just can't.
Okay, so I would be interested in maybe at the next meeting and find out which towns are actually members of the coalition. And we certainly are not. We're trying to find out where this is going. But it would be good to know that. And, what other information is going on, so we can make some formal decision.
Do they have a website? I didn't see it on your piece of paper.
Not yet.
So it seems like some of these communities are probably just attending, trying to get, as it says here, information.
Yes, some are, and all of them are very actively involved, and they're not just sitting there listening, watching. Everybody has been part of the process.
Mhm.
But as far as in determining which direction to go, that, I think there's a little gun shy in that regard, to make sure that, we don't want, in my estimation, we don't want to become part of a group that is not under control, for lack of a better description. I mean, we want to make sure that they're following appropriate protocol as far as a coalition is concerned. I would think, anyway.
Well, what I see here is two co-chairs. So there's a co-chair, Stuart Schulman, Selectman from Groton, and Andy Sheehan, Town Administrator of Town of
Right.
Townsend. So they're really taking a leadership role in moving this along, or?
Yes, they were obviously elected to be the chairman. There are, the coalition meetings are open to the public. So we do have some residents of that given town. Wherever the meeting is held, there are some residents of the town that also do attend as well. But the coalition in general is in the process of identifying its primary role, and that can come from us. That'll come from every board member or every town that participates in the meetings. Is basically designed to determine the direction of the coalition. So they'd have to have our approval. I think that any time that if our board felt that the coalition isn't really representing the town of North Reading as we would like it to do, then we can back out any time.
But we're not a member of the coalition
No.
at this point.
No, I'm not, yeah, but we're participating in it. We're not a member, but we're participating in it by our presence.
Well, we're attending
I'm-
meetings, we're not
Yeah, I'm
participating.
trying to understand how this thing is organized, that's all. It seems to be just disorganized at the moment. I mean, there are people attending, right?
Right.
But
Towns,
there's
there are
some core,
towns,
there's got to be some core group of communities, certainly Groton and Townsend,
and Draycote.
probably actual active members of this coalition,
Mhm.
and they're trying to grow this coalition, right?
Yeah.
So who are the members?
Can I ask what the mission statement?
Yes, the mission statement is as follows: to gather knowledge and work collaboratively as a coalition of municipalities to provide representation and information to relevant government and public bodies concerning the proposed Tennessee Gas Pipeline project proposed by Kinder Morgan and its effect on our communities. So this, to me, is more informational than anything else at the moment.
And that's where we are at this moment, that's correct. They're gathering information right now, because it's important to understand that we don't know where the path is going to take you. Supposing the information we get says that, hey, this pipeline's a great idea, you know, we don't know. We don't know what that information is going to determine. I think in some cases, there's some beliefs that it's not good for the communities, and in some people, they feel that we need to work together in such a way or I should say the coalition needs to work together in such a way that to have the pipeline have an alternative route. And can we do that? And then we need information for that, and that's what the coalition is doing at this time. All right. Now, as far as the letter to our representatives, the question would be, do we want to have our name on that letter to the representatives asking for a delay? And then that's all the letter is asking for a delay. So that would be the question that we need to answer. I mean, I'm assuming everybody read, yes, Mike,
I haven't seen the one.
I'm
There
sorry.
you go.
I looked for the letter, and maybe I'm not looking in the right place.
Sorry.
It says July
remember that.
15 July 2014.
One of the four,
That should have been in here, right?
Yeah, I think I sent that by email to all of you.
Yeah, I had a problem. So I didn't see it.
Is that one of
I
those?
just got you one from a month ago today, so,
We just fixed his computer, his iPad is ready to go.
thank you.
I saw the letter. You sent it last week?
Yeah.
One of these documents.
That looks like it right there.
This here? Okay.
That's not it.
No, but this
No, that's not
answers
it.
the question.
No, that's the one that you have in front of you.
This says,
That's this,
Gas Line Coalition, Ashby, Drake, Dunstable, Groton, Littleton, Pepperell, Reading, Tewksbury, Townsend, Tingsboro, and Wilmington.
Right, and that's on the side.
Okay,
yeah.
so that answered one of my questions. I had to find the letter,
That's all that's on there.
because I have not like, seen the letter. You
Me
sent it?
either.
Yeah,
I believe you.
there's an email, look,
Danny, oh, it's gotta be right here.
It was the only attachment in the
Agenda.
email, was the
Oh, was
letter
the
that Jeff
only-
sent.
Okay, that's this document.
Right.
See, I don't, proposed mission
I'll pull it up.
statement.
I think mine goes to your Aku.
Well, that would be on here.
Well, would you like to see the letter?
Yeah, I would,
I would.
because I can't, I didn't, either didn't get it, or,
I didn't get it.
no, I don't have it.
It's funny, I don't have it in my exchange, but I have it in my regular. There we go.
Thank you. So do you know when they plan on sending that letter out?
It should be going out sometime the next few days.
Mm-hmm. And
Is it-
they were
is it just approved at the
asking,
meeting?
what are they asking of us?
They're asking of us to, in the letter to be a participant in that letter. Okay, and I guess the other question is to officially let them know what we want our role to be at in the coalition. How do we want to participate?
Mhm.
So those are the real two most important questions. So there could be something on there that we want to participate in, like this letter, or not. But we definitely, I think it's vital that we attend these meetings right now. Because,
Yeah, that's why we ask you to do that.
so,
So the real question is,
Do we want to be a member of the coalition?
right,
an official.
An official member?
right.
And I would have no objection to it. I mean,
Well, it also clarifies, I think, there's about 8 or 9 communities in that list,
Yeah.
if that's what that list means, right?
I like the idea myself.
Now, I think, you know, based on the mission statement and everything else, and the content of the letter itself, I have no objection with it at all. Do you have any comments?
Well, I
Michael?
just, one on the mission statement, I talked to Jeff about this, but one word that concerns me is representation. The information is okay, but representation, are you gonna have to go back to our board, and everybody's gonna have to go back to their board to approve what representation they're going to make at some point in the future, because it just seems like...
Yes, each town, it would be very difficult for each town to represent themselves, obviously, so that's why you have a coalition. Okay, but the representation would have to be as a result of us approving the direction that they're going. All right, so if they have to go in front of FERC, all right, if they, and they're going to seek permission to be able to be, I can't think of the word right now, but the right to be able to communicate with FERC, and for FERC to listen to them, all right, then they would be representing the coalition of which we'd be a part of. Now, if somewhere down the road we feel that the coalition isn't quite going the way that we think it should go, then we can always, back off. But going forward, I think that it would appear to me to be very important to be part of the process at this stage, because the coalition has to have some meat to it, so they have to be able to say that they represent communities within the Northeast, and that's the reason why they used it. That was my suggestion, to use the term Northeast, because that incorporated a greater area, so it could become even larger at that point.
Well, here's my, I have one concern, I think Michael was maybe leading into, and that is you join a coalition, the coalition decides to downstream, to take on a lawsuit, pursue legal action against Kinder Morgan or Tennessee Gas
Right,
or
right.
the federal government or who knows, and at that point, as a member, are we fully obligated legally? Is there a document that we signed, an agreement we signed to become a member? Doesn't seem to be,
Right,
seems
there
like it's
isn't,
very loose.
there is no document that's come across, and I mean, simply put it is just a coalition. It's not it's except having to follow Robert's rules and meetings and so on. Other than that, the only strength that it has, the only binding strength that it has, is the communities surrounding it, participating.
Mhm. John, you have a question?
I've been Googling. It seems to me that the line doesn't even come to North Reading, and the line comes from New York all the way and stops in Drake.
No,
No,
you're
no.
missing the second piece.
Yeah.
The second phase comes from Drake
Yeah, it comes right through.
through North Reading to Linfield.
Oh, okay. That's,
Yeah,
Cool,
we're
you
well
know, you
aware
can
of
do so
that.
much.
Yeah.
We wish.
So basically what you're saying, there's no necessary real exposure to
Yeah, I don't think there's any
concern to
risk.
joining
Just
the
leave it
coalition
alone.
at this point, since it's very informal.
Right.
And to put our name on the letter, I'm in full support of that. I didn't see anything wrong with that letter at all. So, do we want to
Jeff, what's the name of the organization again? I don't have it.
The name of the organization is called the Northeast Municipal Gas Pipeline Coalition,
Mr. Chair-
NMGPC.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we join the Northeast Municipal Gas Pipeline Coalition.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Fode. Further discussion? Did the secretary catch that?
Northeast
Pretty much.
Municipal.
Yeah, I got it right here.
Okay.
Yeah.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous? Second on the letter?
Well, I think being part of the coalition, we're kind of agreeing to be part of the
No, I
letter.
think we should have a motion
Motion,
to
okay.
have our name put on the letter.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that, what was it? Did you give it back to me?
I give it back to you, I did. It was with a paperclip.
There it is, okay. Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that Board of Selectmen include their name on the letter by the Northeast Massachusetts, Northeast Municipal Gas Pipeline Coalition dated July 15, 2014.
And you leave a copy of that with the secretary.
Yes.
Jeff, that's what you sent me?
Yes, you should have a
I have.
copy of this.
I'll give it to her,
Okay.
if you need that.
So I have a motion by Mr. Yule, do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Fode. Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jeff.
Thank
That's
you
it.
for attending all the meetings.
I'll be glad to do it. If you have any questions or anything that comes to mind that you want me to pass on to the meeting, feel free to send me something, just say.
I would suggest you do take along our fact sheet that we've posted to the coalition
Yeah.
and see what we have posted to the public right now. And I think they should take that and look into it themselves and maybe consider posting something similar.
Right.
And there's some facts on there that I would love to see the coalition try to address. One of them meaning that really basically says we don't have any rights. Even if, FERC approves this, you're a property owner, it doesn't matter whether you want it to come or not, or whether we as a board want it to come or not, it's gonna come. I think that needs to be vetted a little bit more. I'd like to see that get vetted.
Okay.
Yeah. old and new business. Michael, do you have anything for the board?
No.
Joe, you want to start?
Absolutely. Acting Town Administrator Murphy sent me an email last week informing us that Reading Municipal Light Department has received a $250,000 grant from the Mass Department of Energy Resources. And this is a grant that they applied for LED streetlights in the 4 communities that they service. That being said, thank you, Chief, for sending that out. I'm going to reach out to General Manager O'Brien to find out if there are any plans, if they've already picked locations, and if not, if we could have some input as to where we would like to see them go. So I'll do that tomorrow.
Was there not some input already provided to them?
There wasn't. I think it was before the grant. They had
Oh, okay.
a significant, specific amount, and I believe it was around
They
the
picked
town
those-
hall area.
Mhm.
Okay.
But
I'll
that may change with the.
I'll reach out and see if she can give us a
Mhm.
copy of where they had planned on doing anyway, just so we would know.
Great.
But that's good news. We'll get a number from them. The only other thing I have is, seeing that we are having a meeting on August 4th, and this will be the chief's last meeting as acting town administrator. I know he still has 2 weeks left in his term, but this is our last meeting. I just want to acknowledge the work that he's done. First of all, stepping up and taking on this task. And as far as I'm concerned, I haven't heard anything, but I think things have gone undisturbed for the last several weeks. So in the communication from you has been, phenomenal. So I just want to thank you personally for taking it on and for the role that you've fulfilled for the last several weeks, in my opinion, has been great. So thank you. You may want to consider it in another life, but that's maybe years and years and years down the line, because we don't want to lose you as our chief.
Tried and
But
tested, I'm all set.
thank you very much. You've done a great job.
Is that it, Joe?
That's it. Thank you,
And Michael?
Mr. Chair.
Well, I do hope the chief attends the August 4th meeting. I think it'd be probably good that you did, just as a transition.
Yeah, I plan on, at least for the next couple of months, to help Michael transition,
Yeah,
so.
oh, he's gonna need it, but I agree with Mr. Fode. The communication's been excellent, and, I know you've been working really hard doing both jobs, and it hasn't gone unnoticed. I wanted to make sure everybody was aware, I sent out the email to everyone letting you know that the CPC is holding their last public hearing on the medical marijuana bylaw. That'll be in this room, July 22nd, 7:30. I would encourage all the board members, if you have the opportunity and the time to attend. Yes?
It will not be in this room.
Okay.
It's tomorrow night. Because of the construction in the TA's office, they're gonna move it to room 10.
Okay, I didn't know that.
July 22nd? At what
Tomorrow
time?
night,
Oh,
7:30.
tomorrow night?
Yep.
At 7?
7:30.
7:30?
And it's gonna be it's gonna be in room 10.
Yeah, I don't worry about that.
Yes, we can hold it here, but I think the CPC has decided that they want to move it back there,
Okay.
just in case.
That's fine. I hadn't heard that yet, so, but thank you for clarifying that. And this is the last public hearing on this before it goes to
Correct.
October town
Right.
meeting.
Mike, if I may ask, will it be much different than the last meeting that we had?
They incorporated our comments. One of the discussions that we did have was regarding the fingerprinting. I don't know, Chief, this is.
Well, that will be discussed tomorrow night, but yeah, there is, we've taken that out of the bylaw. So the final reading of the bylaw will be tomorrow night.
That's pretty much it. I think as a board, we were all kind of pushing towards that fingerprinting, but I believe Copeland and Page has guided us against doing that, at least.
In the zoning
in the zoning,
bylaw, but there is an opportunity to discuss it in a separate warrant article.
Right. So that's going to be discussed tomorrow night. Any questions on that? Question for the chief. Solicitors. I had one in at my house about 2 months ago. I did end up calling the office. The gentleman came into my yard. My daughter was there. He had no identification on him. He was carrying a clipboard. I think he was there from, I believe it was Comcast. In the end, we did find out he did sign in, but he didn't tell me that. And he didn't have any ID from Comcast, didn't have any identification on him at all. What is the process? And are you giving them a piece of paper that they can show the residents that they've been checked in at the police station?
No, we don't. And the reason for that is the actual permit is good for 1 year. Unfortunately, we don't take it back from them, so they may only be in town for 2 weeks, but they carry that around wherever they go, into other communities. So I decided against actually issuing a badge, but they are supposed to wear their Comcast, according to Comcast. So the complaint should go there. The process is they apply, each individual person applies, and then they go through a background check, which includes the civil fingerprinting. And at that point, if they meet the criteria by law, they're approved. We ask them to check in with us, and they do. Every day they come to town. Over the weekend, we had a few people that were out there soliciting that were not registered with us. We put it out on our Facebook page to let anybody know to contact us. And whoever is found to be in violation is subject to arrest. That typically does not happen all the time. You know, there may be summoned, or they may be told to leave town. And the second offense probably would result in criminal.
Can we require that they have an ID or a badge or something with them? Or is that against the law?
Well, there's nothing in the law that requires them to do that. I know the town of Andover did issue solicitor IDs with their picture on it, but it says the town of Andover on it. I just didn't feel comfortable having the town of North Reading, because they're only here for a short period of time. But we can recommend that they have an ID badge of some sort.
I would be okay with a simple thing like a permission slip from the police office. You know, somebody, whoever's the sergeant is in charge, or lieutenant in charge, if they sign a permission slip to say, yes, you're authorized to be out, and it says right on the dates and time.
Right.
Yeah,
I would be more comfortable with that, but I'll tell you right now, I'm not letting anybody in my yard anymore unless they show an ID. It's just not happening.
Yeah, the only other issue is there has to actually be a photo ID, because we've had it happen to us where, yes, I'm registered, and then there's 5 people in the car, and
Okay.
they tell us their different names, so we'd have to have a photo ID, which we do have but it's manpower, it's money, everything else that goes along with it. We've seen a significant reduction since we've instituted the civil fingerprinting law of solicitors going door to door.
Okay. That's fine.
so-
I just.
No, I know.
I needed to vent on that.
But it's for us too, is we're out there, trying to run everybody down, because we get complaints all the time, and we're trying to identify them. And once they hear or see us, they're out of town for the day, so.
Mr. Yule.
Question on that? When someone from the utility company comes, they have a badge with a picture on it, right? Okay, is that a law that they have to do that? Or that's something that they do?
I think it's good company practice. That's
Right.
not solicitation. So that's just,
That's true.
so they want them identified, so they're not gonna get the police called on them, most likely. But either way, that can be, people could use somebody else's badge as well. So
I understand.
anybody that feels uncomfortable should call the police department right away. And at least we can come down and vet them and determine, what their reason there is, and whether they're legally able to do what they're doing.
Thank you. That's all I have.
That's all you have, Jeff?
Yeah, you ever see the movie The Natural?
Is that a trick question?
Yeah, it's a yes or no answer.
I
Well,
have.
you're a natural. That's what I want to say. You handled yourself.
I didn't know where you were going with this.
That's why I asked that trick question.
You're a natural. I mean, you didn't miss a trick. Everything, nothing slipped by you. And you were very helpful. You were helpful with the information that you supplied to me, and apparently with the other selectmen as well. So you do have a second calling if you so choose. But thank you, and I think that's reflective of how you handle the police department anyway. So you're a top-notch professional as far as I'm concerned. So
Just on that note, though, I'm taking a lot of the credit here, but the department heads in this town have stepped up. The communication from them, they're actually excited about the change, but they've been the ones that have supported me. So I just want to make sure that they're recognized as well, because without them, the communication going back and forth wouldn't be able to provide what I've been able to provide to the board. So I'd like to thank them.
Good. I don't doubt that. Other than that, I don't have anything. So,
Thank you. Just to know for a couple of gentlemen in the audience, I know why they came here tonight, we did not get the information from the state that we needed, so it's off the agenda until our next meeting. Hopefully, we'll have that information. With respect to our new town administrator, on the 4th, Monday at 9 a.m., there'll be a swearing-in ceremony here, and of course, the entire board is invited, all of the town employees invited, and citizens that are interested, welcome to come here also. That'll take place promptly at 9 o'clock. And there'll be simple refreshments afterward.
Coffee and light refreshments, yes.
Second very important thing is the community impact team is running the second annual, I think we're going to keep it as an annual event. National Night Out was extremely successful last year. For the first time, I was really impressed. The weather did help, and the park was full when we got there, so free food, that helped keep people there. But I think there's, what, at least 24 exhibitors?
Up to 28 now.
28.
Yeah.
28 exhibitors will be at the park. Again, I'm asking for board volunteers. I know there's a couple of great cooks here. There are a lot of...
Great cook. I'm a server.
We talked about the
Sir.
dunk tank, though, I think, last time.
Mike,
Jeff's already got that wrapped
Mike
up.
Prisco?
Jeff is an expert at it. I know for a
I don't
fact.
fit in the dunk tank.
Anyway, we could use plenty of help if anyone else in the audience or hears they want to step up and volunteer. We could use the help. Any people in and out, especially people that are handicapped. I think there'll be some golf carts there to
Yes.
help out.
what date is that again?
It's the Tuesday after our fourth meeting, at 5:30 to 7:30,
Yes.
in the park, in the back end, the park where the fields are.
That's the time, what's the date?
Great event, and
5:30, 7:30.
August 5th.
looking forward to another great turnout. And hopefully the weather will be on our side again. It was perfect.
Oh,
It wasn't.
Knock on wood. There was a, CIT also sponsored a seminar, which was reasonably well attended, on e-cigarettes and vaping. I left there with my jaw dropped associated with what is out there. I thought that you thought there were a number of brands of cigarettes. There's tenfold brands of this stuff. And there was a picture that they took of what kids see in the store and what adults see in the store. And adults will see, cigarettes. And the kids, when they go in there, see all these colorful presentations of all these types of e-cigarettes and other forms of
Attractive.
gaining nicotine. And I was just totally mind-boggled by the total marketing effort from,
All at eye level.
Yeah.
just unbelievable. I think that was a very good,
It was.
timely
True.
It was
seminar.
excellent. Can I just add one thing to that?
Yes. course.
I did not know that the nicotine liquid is not, it's not regulated at all. I mean, people don't know what's in it. When I was reading the packages coming from Thailand and other places around the world, that I don't know how you could trust what's in that, but these people don't understand what they're inhaling in this vapor.
The legislature's looking at it
Absolutely blown
now
away.
to come up with some legislation, but they've certainly cornered the market and are targeting, teenage
Yeah.
kids.
It's just,
Amazing.
it doesn't end, does it?
No.
No.
And lastly, other members of the board already mentioned it, Mike, but I know I've worked closely with you over the past few weeks, and your leadership, your professionalism is just outstanding. And I think you're right to give credit to the department heads, but somehow you magically got everybody working as a team. And to your credit, that's a skill set that, exemplifies your success, and well-deserved. A real thank you from the chair.
Thank you.
Not only keeping all the board members informed, but keeping me informed of things as they were coming up, and it's much appreciated, all the hard work, and what I can say is a big thank you from my heart. Anything else? I'll accept the motion to adjourn.
I move that we adjourn.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Yule, second by Mr. Fode. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.